A cold wind drifted across the old Willow Creek graveyard, carrying with it the faint smell of damp earth and forgotten flowers. This graveyard had stood for more than a century, and in that time it had seen everything: grief, regrets, secrets, prayers, and whispers meant only for the dead. Stone angels watched from their pedestals, their eyes worn smooth by rain. Names carved on the tombstones had begun to fade. But memories never really left this place. They clung to the air like ghosts. Every evening, just before sunset, Emily Dawson walked through the rusted iron gate, the hinges creaking softly. She always carried fresh white lilies for her son, the only flowers he liked when he was alive. She walked slowly, as if afraid to disturb the silence, her shoes crunching lightly over gravel. Her breaths were quiet, steady, practiced. For 8 months, she had followed the same routine: walk to Adam's grave, kneel, whisper to him, and leave only when darkness swallowed the sky. The graveyard keeper, an old man named Howard, watched her from a distance every day. He lived in a small wooden cabin near the caretaker's shed. People rarely spoke to him. He was quiet, serious, and always seemed lost in thoughts too heavy for the living. Yet his eyes softened whenever Emily walked by. Grief recognized grief. That evening, Emily knelt and brushed dry leaves off her son's gravestone. Her hand lingered on the cold marble. "Hi, sweetheart," she whispered. "I brought your favorite flowers again. I hope you can see them. I hope you can see me." Her voice cracked. The pain had never softened. Her son had been just 10 years old, full of laughter, full of silly jokes, full of questions she never thought she'd miss answering. Now she'd give anything to hear even one. Emily stayed longer than usual that day. When she finally stood to leave, Howard nodded to her quietly, as he always did. She nodded back, forcing a small smile, unaware that the night would soon reveal a truth she was never prepared to face. The next evening, the sky darkened earlier, clouds gathering, promising rain. Emily hurried to the graveyard, clutching her coat around her. She stepped through the iron gate, and before she could take another step toward Adam's grave, Howard suddenly appeared in front of her. His hand shot out, gripping her arm firmly, firmer than any old man's grip should be. "Stop," he whispered, his voice strange and heavy. Emily almost pulled back. "Howard, what's wrong?" "Not tonight," he said, his eyes darting toward the grave in the distance. "You can't go to his grave tonight." "What are you talking about?" Emily asked, her confusion turning into irritation. "Why can't I go?" Howard swallowed, his throat tight. "Because you need to see something you've been kept from, something he has come to confess." Emily's heart thudded. "Who?" Howard didn't answer. Instead, he tightened his grip a little. "Follow me, and whatever happens, stay quiet." Reluctantly, confused and slightly afraid, she allowed him to pull her behind a large stone mausoleum, a shadowed corner overlooking Adam's grave. The sky continued to grow darker. The wind got colder. Emily wrapped her arms around herself. Then footsteps echoed across the graveyard. Slow, dragging footsteps. A tall figure emerged from the fog, his shoulders hunched, his steps uneven, as if one leg hurt. Emily squinted, trying to make out his face. The man wore a dark jacket and a cap pulled low over his eyes, but the way he moved, it felt like he carried years of pain. He walked to Adam's grave and knelt, slowly, heavily, as if every movement aged him further. Emily pressed a trembling hand to her mouth. Howard whispered, "Watch." The man placed shaking hands on the gravestone. "Adam," he breathed, "my boy, look at me. It's me again. I'm back." Tears slid down his cheeks and fell onto the fresh soil. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry." Emily felt her stomach twist. Her heart pounded painfully against her chest. The man continued, voice cracking. "I didn't see you running across the road that night. I swear I didn't. You were laughing, chasing something, and I wasn't paying attention. It happened so fast." He covered his face with his hands. "I stopped the car for a second. I wanted to help you. I did. But I saw your little body not moving, and I froze. I panicked. I ran. Emily's eyes widened, tears streaking her face. The driver, the hit-and-run driver they never found, the man who killed her son. Her breath shattered in her chest. She wanted to scream, to run at him, to claw at him with the fury that had been building inside her for 8 months, but Howard clutched her arm. "Wait," he whispered. "Let him speak." Emily forced herself to stay still, though her body trembled with rage. The man kept talking. "I come here every night," he said, "every single night. I leave something for you, a toy, a note, something. I don't sleep anymore. I see your face everywhere I go. Forgive me, Adam. Please, forgive me." He took a small toy car from his pocket, scratched, old, used, and placed it beside the flowers Emily had left. "For the boy I never meant to hurt," he murmured. Then he stood, slowly, painfully. He turned and saw Emily. The world around him seemed to freeze. The fog, the wind, the air itself, everything stopped. The man's face drained of color. His knees gave out and he fell to the ground. You're his mother," he choked. "God, oh God." Emily stepped forward, her legs numb, her breath cold. "You," she whispered. "It was you." The man grabbed the dirt with shaking hands. "Do whatever you want. Call the police. Hit me. Kill me. I deserve it. I've deserved it since that night." Emily stared at him, her tears burning her skin. "You broke my world," she whispered. "You took the only thing I lived for." "I know," he sobbed, "and I'll never forgive myself." Emily stepped closer, her voice trembling. "If you really want forgiveness, then stop running. Face what you did. Let the truth finally breathe." The man nodded slowly, his shoulders collapsing as if a weight he carried for months suddenly became too heavy. "I will," he whispered. "Tomorrow. First thing in the morning. I'll walk into the station and confess everything, not because you told me to, but because your son deserves the truth." Emily looked at him a long moment, then turned to Adam's grave. She knelt, placing her palm on the cold marble. "Adam," she whispered, "I hope you heard all of this. Maybe now you can rest." The wind shifted, a soft, warm breeze fluttering through the grass, almost like a child's sigh. Emily closed her eyes, letting it wash through her grief. Howard stepped beside her. "You were right to see this," he said quietly. "Your son wasn't alone tonight, and neither were you." Emily wiped her tears. "Why did you bring me here?" she asked. "How long have you known?" Howard gave a tired smile. "Long enough. Grief teaches you to notice things others don't. I saw the man coming every night. I saw how he cried, how he broke. I knew one day you needed to see the truth. Even the ugliest truth brings peace." Emily nodded slowly. The man got up, bowed his head one last time, and walked out of the graveyard, toward the life he would no longer run from. A faint light began glowing in the horizon. The sun was rising, soft and golden. Emily stood, letting the new morning touch her skin, warm her bones, soften her sorrow. For the first time in 8 months, she felt something she thought she had lost forever: relief. Not because her pain vanished, grief never truly leaves, but because truth, once spoken, stops haunting the living. Emily whispered, "Good night, Adam," and walked slowly toward the gates, leaving the graveyard behind as the keeper shut the old iron door. The world felt lighter, her breathing deeper, her heart, though cracked, finally beating freely again. And somewhere in the quiet morning breeze, a small boy's laughter seemed to echo, gentle and distant, finally at peace. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share if you enjoyed the story, and subscribe for more stories that touch your heart.